Trucks are running good. Nothing more stressful than when that check engine light comes on. So I really hope trucks are treating you good. And let's talk about carrier packets. It's before I had my authority and before I went to F2F, I tried to watch, learn as much as I could, watch videos of people talking about carrier packets, and you never really get it until you get it, right? You don't know what you don't know. And I'm here to tell you, carrier packets are super simple, nothing to worry about. But right up front, I'm going to tell you some things that you will definitely need. Now, your phone, you can try to do these carrier packets over your phone, but it is going to be a big headache. So I suggest you go out and get a laptop. I went out and bought one for like $200, brand new. I think it's called Asus. Just very small laptop, no bells and whistles. All I use it for is filling out carrier packets and doing some trucking stuff. But so really need a laptop. Now I don't know about an iPad if it would work as well. It probably would if you bought the keyboard to go with it. But definitely a laptop and definitely a printer. I've got the cheapest printer you can get from Walmart, and I use it quite a bit. So need those things definitely. And then you can do your carrier packets and not worry about it. So carrier packet is just basically a short application with all your information on it. You're sending to an agent so they can make sure that they're protected and they have all your info in case something happens. It's super simple, but go over the scenario. So say you just got your authority and you call on your first load. You're thumbing through the load board and you find a load with, say, with just American Eagle Logistics. I don't know if that's a real company or not. I'm just making it up. But so you call them and say, hey, I really want this load you've got listed here. And one of the first questions they're going to ask you is, are you set up with us? And you'll say no. And they'll say, okay, what's your MC number? And they'll type your MC number in, and they can check it instantly whether or not you're qualified to sign up with them. Some companies have a 3-month policy, some have a 6-month, and very, very few are more than that. I've run into one that wanted more than a year's experience on my authority, and one that said I needed to have at least 4 trucks. So, but for the most part, there's going to be a lot of them that work with you with no experience. Then at the 3-month mark, you're going to, most of them are going to work with you, and then 6-month mark. So they'll check your MC number, and right away they can check it instantly. It's not something they have to call you back or anything like that. And so they'll say, okay, I'm going to send you over a link to fill out this carrier packet. Now, if you're lucky, they'll send you a link for you to do everything electronically. And there's a couple of different platforms. I think the biggest one out there is called RMIS. I don't know what that stands for, but you don't have to go over to RMIS and register, nothing like that. There's another one called, I think the DAT does it too for quite a few companies, and DAT makes it super simple. Or you can do a DocuSign, or they have their own packet. So I'm going to go over each one of them. So that they send you over a link, and it platform that collects information electronically. And what you do is you just, first thing it'll ask you for is your MC or your DOT number to verify you are who you are. And it'll tell you right away, once you type in that DOT number, it'll give you a number of categories. And it'll tell you if you passed or failed. Some of them are safety, some of them are how long you've had your authority. If it all passes, you'll go to the next screen, and that's when it'll start collecting the information, the name of your company, your address, your phone number, the basics. Now, once you do that, it'll ask you to fill out a W-9 for tax purposes. And again, it's super simple. It takes about 2 minutes to fill that out. And then it'll ask you your preferences of where you want to travel, how many trucks you have, what type of trailer. And you're pretty much, you're done after that, except for a certificate of insurance. Now, the first time you do this and the certificate of insurance is set up, the next time you do it on RMIS, some of your information is already saved and your insurance is already on file. So if you say the next company agent you call wants you to set up, and they're with RMIS, the process goes even a little faster. Another thing they might ask for, once you do that carrier packet on that platform, RMIS or DAT, it takes literally 10 minutes or less. You'll send that electronically back to that agent, and they're holding that load for you. They're not going to say, hey, fill this out before we give you this load. No, they'll hold that load for you if you've called in on the load. You fill out the carrier packet, and they might ask you for a certificate of insurance. And what I normally do is say, hey, send me an email, and I'll forward that to my insurance agent. So they send me an email, I forward it to my insurance agent and say, hey, can you send a COI to these guys? And my insurance agent is awesome. Within 5 minutes, he's forwarded back to me and the agent, and I'm done. In literally less than 15 minutes, I filled out a carrier packet, and I've got that load. Now, RMIS and DAT are very similar in that aspect. They're all electronic. Everything is done online. Another way that it's pretty much the same thing, almost as easy, is if these companies have a DocuSign account. And what they do is they'll send you a link, say, hey, fill this out. It's our carrier packet. And you click the link and it goes into DocuSign, and you basically put in the similar information and send it back to them. It's all instantaneous. Now, the one that does get, for me in the beginning, was kind of a pain in the butt. Very few of these agents do this, but some do. They have their own paperwork that they've come up with, and it's not digital. It's just about 10 or 15 pages of information, and maybe 3 or 4 of those pages you need to fill out. And they'll send you the PDF. And what I've tried is I have Adobe Document Sign, and I have I've tried Google Docs. They'll send me the PDF, and I will try to use either one of those programs to actually sign that carrier packet, and it's never worked out for me. Just for whatever reason, their paperwork doesn't match with that program. So the easiest way I found on those is download the PDF, print it out, fill it out by hand, then scan it and send it back. Still, even doing it that way, it takes less than 20 minutes. But the catch is, like I said, there's maybe 10 or 12 pages, and there's only 3 or 4 that you actually need to fill out, but they want you to scan every single page and send it back for whatever reason. But, taking that into account, that's probably less than 10% of the agents out there have their own type of paperwork like that. So 90% of the cases, call them, they send you a link, and you fill out the carrier packet, and you're done in less than 10 minutes. No big deal whatsoever. Now, what I do, and every so often, and I did this at the beginning, and it saved me lots of time, is before I even ever booked my first load, I went in and did carrier packets for a number of companies. And I'll take Landstar, for instance. Landstar, with no experience, you can sign up with Landstar, and TQL too, I believe. And they're both, I think they both use the RMIS platform. So right away, I just went in to my Google machine and typed in Landstar carrier setup packet. And I filled out the carrier setup packet. You don't need to talk to anybody at the company. You don't need to be booked on the load, nothing. You just can go to their website and follow the links for the carrier setup. And I do that every so often. I'll get back there and I'll flip through the load boards, and I'll see a company that I haven't signed up, one that has quite a few loads that I haven't signed up for. And what I do is I'll check real quick to see if it's one that I can do online. If they're set up with the DAT or RMIS platform, then I'll go ahead and fill it out and add them to my list. Even though I may never book a load with them, it's only 5 minutes out of my life, and if I do decide to book a load with them later, I'm already done. So that's it. No big mystery on carrier packets. Easy peasy, and I hope that that was clear and concise, and hope it helps out.